Have you been wanting to hire a salesperson or even build yourself a sales team, but not sure where to start? You're not sure who to hire, how to do the job description, how to set them KPIs, and you're wondering, what should I do first? How do I need to do it? In this video, I'll break it down for a 7-figure agency owner on how to build his entire sales team, how to set KPIs, and the things that he needs to do to be able to get that person into the KPIs, ramp them up, and to be able to hit the target so the business can grow and he can start closing deals so he can take himself out of the sales process. And now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Usman Kiani, and I make real sales tactics available for everyone so you can grow your business. Because a lot of people out there have amazing leads coming through, but they don't know how to convert and they don't know how to sell to them. They don't know how to build an epic sales team that can perform and close. Without sales, your business cannot grow. So stick around for the video and I'll break down every step.
Okay, I would love to talk first about, like, for us as an agency, because I do all the sales, right? And so I'd love to explore the process for how you would suggest we approach building out a sales team.
Yeah.
Whether that is like, whether we go the full remote route with the setters, closers, etc. Whether the difference is between that and like in-house, how you set about training them.
Okay.
Like basically for a newbie who's not got a sales team, how would we do it? Because for us as well, because like our growth, if we sign one client a month, then we'll be like over target. We need like 8 clients a year basically, because we charge between £5,000 and £10,000
per month, per calendar month.
Per month, per calendar month.
And your normal avatar has a minimum ad spend of how much?
They're normally on the very low end, like 6-7 grand, I'd say.
Okay.
Up to like 250.
The good thing is, because you're high ticket, it allows you to pay a closer. Even in the beginning, we can even get someone in commission based, which allows you to find right talent. You can get someone on a salary. Eventually, it'd be nice to have a salesperson there. But in the beginning, you just want to look at your margins and look at how best to bring someone in first.
Yeah.
But let's say we were thinking we're going to bring a full-time salesperson in who's really bought into your culture, because when you have an office space like this, you ideally want someone there who's accountable for that board and accountable for that number. Yeah. And it's like the bell's ringing all the time. That's the type of environment you want. And then everybody else feeds off his energy. So like the goal might be to get the first closer, but then normally you need a closer being justified by the amount of opt-ins you get. So if someone's getting at least 10 opt-ins to work with them a week, it justifies having a closer. For you, you don't have as much volume, but they're really high ticket. So you want to justify it by having someone dedicated towards it. So then I would say, in the beginning, because you don't have as many opt-ins, do you want him to hunt for business, or is he just handling inbound?
So we will have a fairly warm lead flow. So our main new business driver is, I run a newsletter, and it goes like every Tuesday. We got about 1,600 people signed up. Yeah. And so, and they're all business owners, and we pump out good content every week to them that just shows kind of what we're doing. Okay. And so our plan is that we've got a good, warm, engaged audience of people who've opened at least 4 or 5 of those, and we can initiate conversations with them, and we should be able to drive a fairly decent amount of what I would call the discovery calls, where we assess them.
So we're looking at lead sources for this closer. So let's say this person was initially not just a setter, but they were multi-skilled. So they were setting appointments, because right at the beginning, when you don't have a mass amount of lead flow, you can just do it on one person. The best way is actually having one setter, one closer, because the setter is just there nurturing, speaking to these people, and then the closer can just be closing them. But because there's not such a big pool, we ideally want to start with one person, just because it's cost effective, and it allows you to save that salary to find someone highly skilled, and then give them a good commission as well. So it's more like a development role. You can even call it a business development manager, because he's going out hunting within your lead flow and going out to maybe looking at more businesses as well. So where could he get lead source? What lead sources has he got? So he's got the newsletter. Where else could he get leads from?
So we do get some inbound inquiries from the website, from content and people finding us. I am quite active on LinkedIn as well. Okay. Posting content, and then when I do I probably do 4 or 5 speaking engagements a year as well.
And are you selling on them, or are you just talking?
Just talking. And then my call to action for them is always sign up to the newsletter.
Yeah. So if you thought about it in like middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and we would have someone looking after both parts of it. So let's say this person come in, and he is, let's say, he is a setter closer, so he's kind of doing both. So he's like a BDM type of role, and you've got your GHL set up, so he's calling through all of these people, and then we set him KPIs on how many from these leads should be coming over to closer. So let's say there's going to be set KPIs that we can find within each area. Within the newsletter, let's say it's warmer, so we're going to say we want at least 15% of the leads to move across to becoming an appointment. So I'd say 12% is good as well. So like 12% of a newsletter seems to work well. And then, so what we're looking for is if he was to call through everyone, as they drop in, it's fresher. So like if someone signed up and they got a call within 2 or 3 days, it's even quicker. They have a higher percentage of signing up. But if from a list, many of these are dormant and cold. But have you got their numbers as well?
No, they're just emails.
Okay, so we can run like a lead magnet to them and then get their numbers and then we can call through them. So is there like a lead magnet that you have for these people? What can we do to give them a bit more value to warm up the closer?
Yeah, we can definitely create almost like a VSL, like a mini masterclass where we run through something.
What's the core problem of your, is it educational businesses mostly?
Yeah, and it's normally leads, it's not enough leads.
Not enough leads. So there's a few ways to do it. You can give them a lead magnet, which is how to run your ads or how to manage the process after you get the lead. A lot of the times when you show people you can run the ads and do it like this, they'll say, just show me how to do it. So do you want to do like a masterclass of one area of ads? What would it be? Because then I can get you to make that lead magnet today or even tomorrow, and then you have an amazing lead magnet, and then you can start the process straight away.
Yeah, I think, how to run Facebook ads.
What area, but what subsect of that area would you be running the lead magnet in?
So specifically, it will be about how to structure the campaigns and how to create the right ads in terms of the creative that are going to generate the results that you need.
Structuring campaign, yeah?
Yeah.
And then, because if this process works, all you do is you'll put ad spend behind some of this as well. You might even push more people to your newsletter. You might do it, and once this mechanism is working, you then have even more lead flow, which just leads you to just get more media buyers and more team. So if acquisition is really, really strong and you've got that system built with one person, then you're like, right, now I can ramp things up. So if you can just test one system first, which will be lead magnet, going out to these 1,600 people. They then would give you their number, which allows the setter and closer to call them. And we want to get 12% of people from this lead magnet even to be booking a call, so booked appointment. Do you know about the KPIs and metrics that you want, or do you want me to write them out?
Yeah, it'd be helpful, because definitely leads engaged, obviously booked appointments.
Show ratio.
Show up rates.
In the beginning it might be low, but after tweaking it, 70% is good. 75% can work, but like 70%, in the beginning what might happen is you'll have leads come in, they won't be the best qualified leads, your audience might not be perfect, so it might be 40, 50%, but as you get that quality higher and there's type forms and nurturing is even better, coming up for the lead magnet, you qualify people better. So then that 70% will be a show, and then we want him to close initially at 30%. What kind of closing rates are you finding for cold traffic at the moment with your guys?
Cold traffic at the moment is probably more at like 25%, I'd say.
I want someone to close at 30, and if it's organic, 50. So if someone's like a large YouTuber, I want them to close more, just because they just walk in with a lot more trust.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why our close rates are a bit bad at the moment is because a lot of the pitches we have are not with like our ideal ICP as well. They're with slightly more random businesses.
Have you got an ad you can like show me? I'd just like to. Have you got an ad live for your business at the moment?
Just for our newsletter.
Okay, so everything is going to a newsletter.
Pretty much, yeah. We just run ads through the newsletter, and then stuff comes from that.
Your newsletter, is it going out every week, every day?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Would you increase the volume of your newsletter, or like more emails going out?
We could do. We could do.
You manage it all through GHL?
No, it's all through Beehive actually, separate platform. But they're quite, we would do that. They're quite chunky. There's quite a lot that goes into them.
What if you did emails every day? You'd think that people would get annoyed, but you'd find that like
Just more touch points.
yeah, it's more touch points. Then you can warm people up even more.
Yeah.
And then if you're sending 10 emails and every 11th email there was a call to action, like you don't even have to make them all about call to actions. Most people make emails all about getting something booked. In the beginning, you can just make it about, let me give value. This is what I'm doing about biohacking. This is what I'm doing about this thing. Just talk. Do you like writing?
Yeah.
Then you would just love it. Just talk about what you did that morning. You can set it so like your EA, like you'll send her voice notes of ideas that you have for email. She taps them up, she sends them to you, you have her approval system, and then you literally just approve and then they send out every day. There can be like a really easy workflow for it.
Yeah.
And then you've got
I like
emails
that.
going out. And then if we increase the amount of emails, because this person needs to walk into leads. And if we get, most businesses, what they do is they'll get their closer to come into the business. They don't have enough leads and they get annoyed at the closer. And the closer complains saying leads are shit. And then they're like, well, you're not closing what's in. And then you end up with a bad culture. To stop that, you want to make sure he has the, or she has the ability to win.
An
So you want to
abundance
set them up.
leads.
Yeah, you want to give them enough leads. So there'll be newsletter leads for him or her. Where else? Like how many's coming from the website?
Probably like 5 a month, not that many.
Okay, so
They're very good in everyone that comes to the website though, that's like straight to appointment.
okay.
Um,
Do you have something in your business where, let's say in the lead form, someone was to say, what's your planned ad budget? And they was to say, well, I want to run 30 grand a month. Do you have anything like that? Do you ask that at the moment?
so that's in our, we'll normally suss that out before we book a call with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then clarify that on the booked call to make sure
Because
we're not wasting
what I
time.
normally do in the beginning is, just like when you run ads and you want to test the lead quality, so you'll call through the leads first. Even when you have a closer, you want to call the leads with him, and it kind of, or her, it kind of shows that person that you're doing it together, and it shows good best practice. So I can write you all SOPs of how the call should be done. Literally, there's the cold calls, which is like, hey, just calling from, what's your agency called again?
Botters.
Just calling from Butters, and you inquired about this lead magnet, have you managed to use it? If it's a yes, like, okay, what did you find valuable? If it's a no, okay, how come, why not? Either way, it leads to a call. So whether it's a yes or no, it leads them to a sales call. And then, do you want to just hire this person sooner? When do you look at hiring this person?
Yeah, in the next few months, for sure. Because as you say, we want to make sure we dial in the lead flow first, but otherwise, it would be very helpful to have them on.
You want this person to walk in and there's just leads there, and then they're closing. And do you have the capacity within your staff to take on the business? Is there any fulfillment bottlenecks, aren't there?
No, because we're investing a lot in our people now. So by the time we get that rolling, the fulfillment should be tight.
And what would happen if you brought this person in sooner and they started calling through all these leads whilst you ran new traffic?
Well, then the only potential squeeze would be a short-term capacity squeeze. Like if they came on tomorrow and we started getting loads of clients, then our level of service would just dip and that would damage our reputation.
Yeah.
So we would just need to get that fulfillment on lock first so that doesn't happen.
Do you want to focus more on what this person needs to do or how to find this person?
I'd love to touch briefly on both if that's possible.
Okay. So have you got a dialer? Do you use HubSpot, GHL?
GHL.
And have you got like something that they can dial with?
Like
you can put a dialer into it, so you can use an external dialer. Like with HubSpot, you can use like Aloe, for example, and it just allows them to give constant calls to that person.
Yeah.
And then there's times where they're just literally calling through the list, or if it's on GHL, they go to contacts and they'll look at everyone that's come through your smart list and just call through every single person, and then move them through the pipeline. So you can make him his own pipeline, which will be contacted, and then it would be appointment booked, and then appointment show. Literally, if you just make a new pipeline for him, and then literally they can just start calling those people straight away. So website, LinkedIn. What happens here? Is this through? Is this the same funnel that you have?
Yeah, pretty much. So I just post a lot on LinkedIn, and so then there would be the chance for us to stimulate some conversations through DMs, people who are engaging.
Are you the most active on this platform?
Yes, probably.
And what about like other platforms, socials, short form content?
Yeah, so that's what we need to get sorted because I do a little bit on Instagram, but I want to have a big push on that. And then obviously YouTube, launching YouTube as well, both long form and also some short form there.
If you need some advice on YouTube, you can speak to Alex because we're like we've been planning all this properly now, what we're planning on doing.
Yeah.
But like I realized I'm not going to make like street content and all this stuff. I'm going to do content that comes naturally to me, which is more like educational content. And then if you just have your core pillars of content that you make, it all leads to just one funnel. Because it just makes everything a lot easier. So we're going to make a lead magnet. The lead magnet will be sent through top of funnel to everyone. And then you can obviously use many chats here. You can use tools on LinkedIn to push that lead magnet as well. That setter closer will call every single person. It's really simple, really. Like, he just calls through people, and then we're just expecting these numbers. But then we need to know where you're going to find him, how you're going to find him, and how you can actually train him up. And I can give you SOP documents for everything to do with recruitment, what he does on the first day, what he does on his training days, and how to structure his onboarding. Is the main issue now trying to find this person?
Yeah, how do we approach that?
Okay. Does this all make sense, what you will do to set him up for success?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have lead flow, there's no point hiring.
Yeah, it's going to.
And then when you have enough lead flow, you will separate these two roles out. So then this setter will sit separately. And then his job is just to have, so the setter needs to have high business acumen, not just, when you hire off a VA off like Philippines or anywhere, they tend not to be good with a business like yours because they're speaking to business owners who have got a big ad spend, who have got business acumen. So if you get a setter who's like not very good with business questions, they can't move people into the booked appointment. For example, if you're speaking to one of your clients and the guy has a business that makes $3 million a year, educational business, he needs to be able to ask him, so what kind of things is your business needing right now? What's it struggling on? And this person needs to be skilled enough to ask that. That's why initially that multi-skilled person, you can find someone. And because you have a good LinkedIn network, I would go on LinkedIn first. I would go on LinkedIn and I would put the role up and we can write like a job description. Are you good at job descriptions? Have you written job descriptions before? If you just use like a normal format, I can send it to you, a job description for a salesperson, and you can literally just put that out on LinkedIn and you'll find applicants. And what I would do, I would run a group interview first. I would run a group interview on, if you did it off LinkedIn and promoted it to your clients or promoted it to your newsletter, this is actually a good place to find this closer. And then you sent it out and you did a group interview for 10, 20 people, however many booked on, and then you can create like a group environment where who is skilled in this area, and you can ask them certain questions and create like an activity. Instantly you'll find 2 or 3 people, and then you'll tell all of those people on that group interview, what I'd like you to do is make a Loom video of what is your selling style, how you sell, how you pitch, and then I can review those Loom videos with you, and we're like, right, we know he's good, we know he's skilled, we know he's poor, and instantly, out of 20 people, only about 5 of them will actually make that Loom video for you, because some people have just turned up to an interview. 5 people will leave you to 2 people that actually are good enough to then have a sit-down interview here and bring them down to. And then, obviously, we want them within this area, so they're not coming down from all the way to the other side of the country. We can easily find this person, and like you just want it to be a really cultural fit. Have you got all your values and mission statement all done?
Yeah, pretty much.
If you've got that done, you tend to find that a business who brings in a setter and closer can motivate them a lot better, because can you give me some of your values?
Yeah, so, our core value, we call it give a shit, in terms of, because we give a shit about each other, we give a shit about our clients, we give a shit about our reputation.
Yeah.
So our core ethos of everything we do is like, we genuinely do give a shit, and that then comes to life across everything that we do. Okay, good. And do you have like a core mission, why you're doing these ads? Yeah, so, our core mission, our first one is like, we genuinely want to be like the best digital growth agency in the world. Super cliche. But because in the marketing space, there's so many bad actors or shit agencies out there that have burned so many businesses. It's like all of our clients have come to us off the back of a bad experience with another agency.
Yeah.
And so we want to like kind of lead the way as like the people who actually can deliver on their promises. Because ultimately when we do that, and we only work with like businesses that we would consider cool or contributing in some, meaningful, positive way to the world. Because then when we grow, we only win if they win, and them winning means that their businesses grow, their lives are enriched, their team's lives are enriched, and all their customers' lives are enriched. And we actually end up having quite a big impact when you trace it all back.
This is so good. And if you link that to when the person gets onboarded in, and they learn, the first day is literally about your values and company, and then it's learning about their role itself, you'd find that you can actually ramp someone's KPIs up very fast. Because in the first month, all you'll say to them is, all I want you to do is just aim for 8% or 6%, you'll give them easy numbers to hit. Because a closer, salespeople work off motivation and they work off feeling as though they're always achieving. Are you from like a sales background yourself? Or
Not at all.
Okay. The way you manage operational stuff is, here's a task and here's how it's done. You don't really, like, you care about their mood and you care about their performance, but not in the same as a salesperson. The way you manage them is so different. So you have to drive performance all the time. For example, with a media buyer, a task needs being done, and you'll say, this is what needs to be done, can you get this done? And if it's not done, you'll have a conversation. With a salesperson, it's almost like a therapy session, and like, this is a number that we need to hit, so it's consultative. What do you think you can get next month? Right, I think I can convert this many, I'm gonna close at 30%, I think I could bring in another 10 sales in. Okay, it's halfway through the month, and they're not brought any sales in. So you'll have to be managing their performance whilst not driving them down. So we spoke about one of your clients before. What happens most of the time is the owner of the business comes in and he'll say, why is that not being done? You said that you're going to hit that number. And then that person just feels pressure and they stop performing. Because when they come onto a sales call, they need to be fresh all the time. Think of like when you speak to a client, you're trying to do this deep dive with them. And to do 6 or 7 of them a day, you get tied down. I know it's like being really soft on a closer, or you're thinking about being really soft on them, but it's actually about driving performance. It's the same as a football manager would manage a player. It's constantly doing drills, constantly doing role plays. Like with the sales closer, you'll be doing a morning meeting with him. You'll be saying, right, how many have you got booked in today? Because there always needs to be appointments, there always needs to be lead flow. So it's just about creating that structure for him. Do you do like a morning meeting?
Not really, no.
Okay. So like when people come in, they just get onto their desk. But like when there's an environment in an office, when it's performance-based, you want to touch base every morning meeting, right? How many people are you expected today? How many people are on the board? Because that accountability needs to always be there. And that's how you have a high-performance office, where normally what happens is, you don't do like a huddle, middle of the day, 15 minutes? I'd probably say you should try it, because when people come in, they'll sit at their desk and they just get working. What'll happen is they'll walk in and they'll say, hey, Elliot, you're right, and then just sit down and start working. Or they might have a little chat. They are so bogged down on what needs to be done that day, they just start working. But it takes the owner, the visionary, to always plug them out and say, what are we all doing as a collective? Where are we all working? So Wendy knows what John is doing, and John knows what Wendy's doing, and what their stress is. Thus we have a really good team culture. The whole point of an office is that everyone understands each other's department, and you want to hone that in early, because when that salesperson comes in, because it's like a smaller business with an office that's like really nice, he can come into the office and be like, right, I give a shit about the media buyer, because when I sell something, I can see how that media buyer would help and what it would do for that business. And that's why showing that culture changes the way the closer thinks about sales activity, because he speaks with so much more belief. When a business owner says, not really sure I can afford it, I thought it was going to be $2,000 a month, he'll say, if you saw the work that we're doing here every day, it will completely blow you away. I can promise you, when you come in, the onboarding will be incredible. The media buyer that we have is an absolute, like, he's so skilled, we will get you results. He can only say that if he has belief, which is driven into him. And most salespeople don't get belief put into them, and they only care about KPIs, and the performance lacks. So it's just about creating that culture before that salesperson gets in, so they think, wow, this is an office I need to be working at. Nice. Rather than the person coming in and they say, that's your desk, enjoy working. When you get a call, just answer it. That's what most offices do, and that's why they don't ever grow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Let's talk about how you would recruit someone.
Yes.
To not make sure I don't damage this TV. Can't press too hard. I have a habit of being boisterous.
You and me both.
You'll have to come and train
to be fair, because in terms of lead flows, here's the question. Because if we're getting Limitless up and running as well, and we start to have some good lead flow for that, obviously you'd think you can just get a lot of people onto Limitless and $99 Skool community pretty easy. But
yeah, could
you utilise a closer's capacity on that as well?
Sorry?
Could you utilise a closer to,
let's say,
get people onto that as well?
The cost of acquisition on your Skool community is 50 quid, which I've seen it for most people. It's like 50 quid to get someone onto Skool. But having the closer chase people up, it doesn't end up profitable because it's only if it's 100 quid a month. Usually it's the conversion of the funnel that does all the Skool, because you'll normally have your Skool page, which is, here's the community, this is what we do, sign up. You get their bank details on that screen, so within the pop-up. Then on the next screen, it'll be an upsell towards a year's membership with 2 months free and 2 other bonuses. And that's how you'll actually make money on the school. And then people who drop out and don't sign up, they can be called by the setter or the closer.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call every lead unless the closer didn't have any more activity to do. Because the first point of call is actually calling people for the high ticket one. So it's more about how you structure his work. So recruitment, I would go off LinkedIn. I'll send you like the job ad written out. So I'll write out the job ad for you. I've got quite a few formats, and then we can write it all out, and then we can find them. I've got job ads for setters and closers, but we can find someone who's multi-skilled in the beginning, but find someone that's leaning more towards, like if it was LinkedIn, you know, like an SDR, someone who's solely hunting on LinkedIn, that is a really powerful role for you as well. So you could find someone who's really good at finding companies on LinkedIn, which is not your traditional closer role of like an internet business. So you could go off your LinkedIn market and design the role very specifically for them. Have you seen like an SDR role before?
I've heard of them, but I've never dived into them.
He's skilled at finding the right person to speak to in companies, because as you scale up now, like the goal is, let's say you're going to run ads for 8-figure companies that you can charge the good amount of money for. Like when I went to VaynerMedia in the week, and all of their clients are massive. Like they run, like you'll know, they have ad spends of like 2-3 million.
What was that trip about, by the way?
I was invited by Simon Squibb to come down. So I have a friend who works with Simon Squibb, who has helped bank with him. His name's Jack. He invited me down to meet Gary and to just talk about my goal for like enterprise sales.
Nice.
So, and of course he just said, just post on LinkedIn. But it was nice to talk to him, because you know sometimes he'll say the same thing to you that everybody else might have said, but it just means more, you know, it's someone that you respect. And
it's
then,
different.
Yeah, you do listen. So then I thought, right, I do need to push my LinkedIn properly. So I might hire like someone to just take over my LinkedIn and to create all the posts on there, because that is a massive market for me.
You got a goldmine as well. You can just take all the transcripts of your videos and content, and they can put it in good LinkedIn formats, and
There you go,
churn
Alex.
it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I've got, for example, because I want to do a bit more on Twitter as well, and so I've got like 100 viral like tweet frameworks in this like mega prompt, and I'll write my newsletter, and my newsletter will turn into like 3 LinkedIn posts, but it will also turn into like 20 tweets. And so I take the newsletter, the piece of content I've written, and then just plug it into AI, and it rattles it out all properly formatted.
Is this like a Matt Gray format? You know Matt Gray? So
Matt Gray, yeah.
The best content creators actually start with writing first. I found like I'm not the type who's very strong at copy. I'm good at like more videos and sales, which is like my pocket. But the people that can start all with text first end up doing a better job with the whole funnel. So I do think if you're good at writing, you can massively leverage that to grow all of your social pages. Do you want to actually grow a big personal brand?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's a great goal to have. Then you just got to really push. We'll make sure we show you our workflow. And then what do you use as a project management system?
We use Asana.
Okay, you can literally copy our board that we have, and we have it on ClickUp, but you can see how we've designed it and how we can go from an idea. So you can text an idea to your EA. Your EA can put it onto something to be filmed. It can go from filmed to recorded and then straight to the editor on an automation. He films it and then someone else publishes it. So all you have to do is just sit there and record it, and after that, everything's done.
Sick. That is fucking what we need.
Yeah, so I'll show you how we're doing that now, because I'm still in client fulfillment, so I'm trying to hire to get myself out of it. And because I'm so busy with that, I need to make the flow really easy for Alex.
Nice.
Okay, recruitment, I would post on LinkedIn. This is actually a simple part of it. So LinkedIn, and then to your email list, so say that you're just recruiting, and then we just run a group interview. I'll do the group interview on, if you wanted to do a really fun group interview, I've done quite a few for salespeople, which is, you get people into an office space. So you might do it where you clear this office out for an afternoon, and you'll get the group in, and then you'll create a task. For example, what I've done in the past with group interviews is, I'll say, if you're going to go to a dream island, what items would you take? You know, the challenge, and you'll put everyone into 3 or 4 groups, and they're all working out the challenge. Well, I'll take this item, and I would do this, or some sort of puzzle or task. And what you're looking for within that group is who's speaking up first, who's taking charge, who's leading, who's sitting back and being an introvert, which personality is really shining through these 10 to 15 people that you've got. It allows you to spot the people just with our traits on how they're interacting in a group, to say, we're going to do a one-on-one interview with you 3 guys or you 3 girls, and then bring them down, and then I could have a one-on-one chat. And then that's a separate structure on how you run the one-on-one chat. But that's the easiest way to recruit. So it's the same as, you can even create an ad but it's not a high enough role to do a recruitment funnel for. I would actually just put it on your LinkedIn email list, do a group interview here. If it's something that you need support with a group interview, I might even come down and do it with you, just to like kind of, this is how we support of a lot of our bigger businesses, that when they do group interviews, me or my sales trainers will come down, we'll do the group interview with them, and we'll show them what good looks like. And then we'll make it really like a really fun, interactive day. And then we can show you how to pick those people. Then we'll do one-on-one interviews with you. So they might be sat with a business owner and us, and we'll interview them. So we have a done-for-you system, or do it yourself and learn how to do it yourself. So which might work for you.
Yeah, that's wicked.
It'll be a really good buzz as well if you find a group of people, get them here, give them a task, then you'll end up seeing someone that's got experience within an ad agency, got experience within sales, and you think, I would never have found this out if I did a Zoom chat. And because you have an office, you can find way better talent. So is this something that you would do?
Yeah, 100%. So we do a similar process. We hired a bunch of interns, and so we do like they have to do some pre-work to qualify, and then we host a big assessment day here. So we get like 15, 16 of them come in. Starts off with like a big round robin where they all speak with like 90 seconds with each member of the team. We all ask a different question. Then we split them into groups, and then depending on what their role is, we'll assess slightly different things. So like we had a creative one literally this last week for a new creative intern to help us out on like the design side of stuff. And so they had like 5 minutes to just create a drink, a brand new drink, had to have a name, a sketch of it, and like a slogan. And then you actually put them in a group, and they have like an hour to do like a task, coming up with like some creative ad strategies, and then kind of present it back. And it works great.
Yeah, it would work great, and you could even post a role which would be 28 to 32k basic, with OTE of up to 100k, because you're high ticket, you can give 10%. So let's say there was to sell a 5k package, I would give 7.5%. Let's say they was to sell a 10k package, they can sell for 10%, and then off that initial sale, they'll get that commission, which allows them to rack up so much more money. Because if they're closing more deals, if you can create the ability for a salesperson to make a lot of money, to make as close to 6 figures as possible, the amount of talent that you get is amazing. You'll get talented people in. And then when you get talent in and you pay them well, you just keep growing, and then very easily you'll ramp into 2 or 3 salespeople, and then you just have a working system. Because when acquisition is no longer a problem, then it's just fulfillment, and that's usually the case with agencies. Once you fill your acquisition problem, then it's like you just need constant media buys and creatives. You know?
Yeah.
Look at that Sabi Subri, he's massive, isn't he? Like I think, is he in Melbourne?
Pardon?
You know Sabri Subi?
Yeah.
His office, they've got
It's
so many
fucking
stuff.
huge, mate.
Yeah, they are
He's
massive.
killing it.
See, like, I think there's so much scope for you to do this now, because your market is growing. When you're in a growing market, you can really ramp things up real well. Anything else that you want to learn? You had a discussion about Skool, and what else?
On this side of things, I think that's pretty clear. I would love to chat about Skool.
Okay. So Skool is a separate business, yeah?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think regarding bringing that closer in that you don't know that you think I've missed out? I can send you all the job roles, like the job spec, the SOPs of how to hire.
I think it makes sense, because understanding the process, we've got to make sure we've got enough leads first, understanding those KPIs that we're going to set. Oh, I guess like the ongoing training is one thing that we didn't mention.
Ongoing training is showing them. It's two sides to it. Training is to do with skill and will. So have you seen the skill and will chart?
Yeah.
So the skill is always about how you constantly get them to learn more about the product, learn more about sales. And the sales is normally like, they would normally access our portal to see how skilled you can make them. And the will is all down to how you can show them the wins all the time. So every time a client has messaged you saying, thank you so much, we just made this much money, your ROAS has got us this, you're showing that to the closer. And the closer constantly just sees good things happening. It just changes the way the closer approaches his sales calls when all he does is see the wins. And that's where I see a big difference in businesses. They never show the salesperson or the client or the customer wins. I constantly show the team customer wins, and that's when the sales team just believes in what you do so much more. You'll hear them on the phone, you'll hear their tone just change.
And so do you drill them with like particular like closing frameworks or sales scripts?
All the time.
Yeah.
When I'm running a high performance sales team, in the beginning when you're doing it with one guy, it's not as much energy. You have to kind of build that energy. But when you have a team, it's pretty much, we look at yesterday's call, we listen to one call, whether it could be a good or bad. And if it's a good, I'm praising that person. And if it's bad, we're literally doing it as like, you know what they talk about game tape? Hormozy was talking about it, where he said like, we listen to it and we rewind and then we go back and listen to it again. And then every time they make a mistake, we say, what should you have said there? And then rewind and go again. And then when we drill it that way, that's when we end up with someone who's really good at closing. Because you'll be able to know what a good sales call looks like. You know your audience well enough. So you'll be able to listen to that call with that sales closer, have him listen through it, and then think, he just mentioned this key point that he's struggling with this. How come we didn't ask him about that? How come we didn't probe into it? He mentioned that he's actually not had leads for the last 6 months. It was your time to say, why have you not had leads for the last 6 months? What's been going on? What kind of things have you tried? And he says, I did run ads, but it's a common story to what I've had. An agency messed me about, never got a good result, and now I've lost faith in people. But they booked the call anyway, so we know that there's an inkling for them to go in on. So that sales closer has to ask the right questions, like what to ask at that point. And then you keep drilling those points on the questions and how to get depth on the sales call. It's just about training the salesperson how to run a good sales call. And when they are trained and they believe in the product, that's when you have a proper winner. That person is just performance-based then.
Love it. Do you use the closer framework? Do you have your own ones?
Yeah, I use my own framework. The closer framework is really good, but it is very American. When you have like a UK audience, they are very skeptical to buy. So I can show you my framework as well, if you just want to see. It'll be a bit. Do you want me to show you that? Yeah,
that'd be helpful.
Okay. So I'll do like a timeline of how I run a sales call, rather than just showing you ask these questions, because I have training for that as well. But the timeline is normally. So let's say it's the start of the call. Come on, pen. And then we have the call. And then it's the close here. And then I know the main thing here is intro and framing the call. What's your sales experience like?
My sales experience is just since I've been in my agency. I'd never done any before.
What's your normal sales call? What do you go through in a normal call?
So my normal sales call, because our process, we have like the discovery call, which is just qualifying, make sure we can actually help the business. And then what I normally do is I position it more as almost like a strategy call, the actual one. Because the process of the sales call, recap the kind of problem whilst we're here. I then put the numbers on it. So I run through like the opportunity, if we can get these ads running. Yeah. So it'll be like X amount. And then once they're bought into that and confirm that, I then go into like showing our process and like what we would do.
Okay, so without changing your process much on a tool call close, I would just talk you through more your discovery call. So your proposal call, I'm going to leave as it is, because that's more like, based on what you've told me, this is what we're going to do, but the depth of how much depth you go into on that call will be based upon the initial discovery call. So how I would do that would be intro and framing, so what we're going to speak about, what we're going to do on that call, why they're on the call, and then here is the situation-based questions, and then the pain, basically. So in this part of the call, I'm looking for what's your current situation, what made you book, what's the biggest struggle, and a good salesperson can find 3 different pains, and someone who's not very good will just find 1 pain. An example is, so why do you want to run ads? What's been happening at the moment? Well, the main thing is that I went to an ad agency before, I just didn't get good results. Okay, so why do you want to run these ads? Well, the problem with my business is I've got staff to pay, I've got this to happen, and we're currently burning money, we're running behind. Okay, 1 pain, but why do you need to fix it? Why is the business so important? The amount of depth that you get into questioning on that would be the making up the situation. Because if you just go top layer and it's like, my salespeople just don't have enough leads to call. Okay, let's go on to the next call and just work out how I can help you. Not enough, because there's no depth, but why do they need that salesperson to perform? What stress have they got? And the more depth that you can go with that, with the better questioning, the more you can move into the next phase of the call with more of an understanding of them. Without this, there's actually no sales call. And then the next phase here is solution. So what kind of things have they tried? So are they solution aware? So have you had it before where someone said to you, can I just let you know, I'm going to try this on my own first? What I'm going to do is I'm going to try this on my own and I'll get back to you in a month. Have you had that before? Mm-hmm. That's commonly because you never asked the solution aware questions. So what you missed was, so what kind of things have you tried? Well, I've tried an agency before. I tried to run the ads myself. I tried boosting posts. That didn't work. And I tried spending 10 grand a month on this area here, but it just didn't work for me. Okay, what else have you tried? Well, we also got partnerships and we also got affiliates. So why do you want to try this ads now? Why is it important for you? So that's when you talk about all the things that they have tried and they want to try. And this links into history of pain as well. So you kind of will say, you'll find a connection between what they're struggling with and what they have tried, and then you'll find the history of what they're going with. For example, when I spoke to you on your clients, you mentioned that a family member works for him, but I didn't pick that up on a call, which means I missed something. So during my call, it was on WhatsApp because he didn't turn up to a call, but as soon as you mentioned that to me, I thought, shit, I don't ask the right questions. Because if I found that out on the call and I asked the right questions, it would have got me to understand what is the culture in the office. So, and it's always about what we missed on the call, which stops that person turning up and not being bought into the process. And then over here is cost of inaction. You'll know this term very well. And then literally, once you've spoken about what they have tried and why they need it so bad, it's like, so what happens if you don't fix it? Then they'll say, well, our business will go bust, or we just won't grow. And that's when they'll start to close themselves into the call. If you're going to do a two-step close, this will then be like, okay, I'm going to plan everything out for your business and I'll come up with a proposal. If you're doing a one-call close, you're going to move towards pitching here and then objection handling before any closing. But that is normally the process. You find out the cost of inaction, and then you'll go into the second call and you'll say, right, I'm going to get everything ready for you. Then you'll have a pitch ready for them on that call. And that's when you'll talk all about the outcome, linking it to their pain. And that's when you go back and forth. And the second call is all about your discovery and maybe do a pitch deck or a proposal. Not sure how you do it, but it'd be good to see how you do it. Maybe you want to record one of your calls and I can kind of review it with you.
Yeah.
And the more depth that you can go into, the better.
Yeah.
Because when you get clients who are sending you 10K on a call, maybe they're paying for 3 months up front, you might be charging them 20K. You need to get a lot more depth. And the more depth that you get, the better. You will get some people that come off a referral, come ready to buy, and they just like straight away bought in. But most people off cold traffic, if that mechanism of the sales call is not there and your closer's not trained and you're not trained, it's going to be very hard. Your closer will always train at a percentage under the founder. So if the founder's not good at sales and is the type of person to say, I don't really like sales, I'm going to hire someone for it, the closer tends to always close less than the founder can. And the founder will always close more than everyone else. So you've got to be really good at sales and really strong for you to be able to listen in on those calls when he's on the call and be like, you could have gone a bit deeper there.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Is that timeline look okay?
Yeah, that's
there is
very
more to
helpful.
it on the end here, objection handling on all that side.
But depending on whether...
Yeah, but then because you do a 2-call close, that is the point of where you're like, right, I'm going to bring everything out and I'll have everything ready for you. And that's when you'll talk about their cost of inaction, their pain, linking it to their solution.
Nice.
That's normally, it's really simple when I break call down into a timeline.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's been very helpful. First is like actually building a school that people want, getting the offer of it right. Because when I was at a separate event before the acquisition.com workshop, and the guy said a fucking great line. He was like, are you selling what people want to buy rather than what you want to sell?
True.
And I was like, fuck.
We never decide what we sell, the customer does.
No, exactly. So making sure we nail that before then, obviously putting the resource into building it out. And then I'm curious about like retention and then obviously acquisition.
Okay. We'll go all in on offer first because that will link to acquisition and then retention falls after. So with Skool, there has to be a pain, the same as your ads, because you're very good at running ads, which means you'll understand pain and solution. What is the pain of this customer?
They are out of shape, unfit, unhealthy, they feel like shit, don't have energy, lots of stress, bad relationships, business is eating them alive.
Yeah. Is it, you mentioned biohacking, so what would make someone look into biohacking? What type of, so out of shape, no energy?
Yeah, they're like, they feel time poor.
Okay.
And they feel like they're not getting enough out of their days or their lives.
Mm-hmm. Are they someone who already has a functioning business? Or
Yeah, functioning business.
So you know, if they are these potential 7-figure businesses or 6-figure?
No, this could be way smaller, because to be fair, this does open you up to like kind of start-up entrepreneurs as well.
It does. And then what is this person going to be after? What's the character change?
Yeah, so they're going to be healthy, they're going to...
You got to go more specific than healthy.
Yeah. So, okay, so like, first of all, like aesthetically, they'll be proud of their physique.
Yeah.
and they'll be full of confidence. Their health in terms of like their literal biomarkers should all improve as well.
Like which biomarkers?
So things like their testosterone will be a big one, because this is all aimed at males as well.
Yeah. Is it all for males, yeah?
Yeah, all specifically for males.
Test libido.
Yeah, libido,
Yeah.
energy. The energy is a big one. And they'll have the energy to not only put everything into running their business, but also be able to do the things they need to do to live their life, spend time with their family, relationships, all that kind of good stuff.
So if you was to call out to this person on like an ad and say, are you out of shape, if you're not feeling energy, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not really sure what to do with your, like, how you're feeling here, you're out of shape. The thing is, when you go broad with aesthetic, energy, it's hard to call out and say, do you want to lose weight, do you want to gain weight, do you want to biohack? It needs to be a certain emotion that you're calling out to.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work out what is that emotion that is going to be in the ad. Because building out the communities, I can give you loads of tips on what to put in courses, but the courses will be made up of the actual pain.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to work out is, because you're broad in what you can offer, I'm trying to work, because it's a new communities are very narrow. And
Yeah. Because the idea behind it is you've got people whose businesses are like controlling their lives, and as a result they sacrifice their health and everything outside of their business. And so the purpose of this is that they can take control and actually get their health back on track, have enough energy to not only run a great business, but do all the other stuff and be able to live the life that they started the business to achieve in the first place.
Let's say it's biohacking, go down the route for that. Are you going to have biohacking courses, which is like how to find out which vitamins you're deficient in and what to take, and then you're going to talk about every vitamin, or is it going to be more?
Now, so the plan is, first of all, you got like what I'd say are our 4 foundations. So like your fuel, what you eat, how you move, your sleep, and then actually like measuring it. Because they're like, it's like the 80-20, right? You've got to have those in place before we even look at the biohacking stuff, which is slightly more marginal. So there's like a little bit on those 4 things first, and then we'll go deeper into like the different things that are going to enhance all of these. So I guess the idea is like people will come in, and depending on where we can quickly identify they have the biggest problem with, like is it their fucking diet, is it their inability to sleep, or is it that they don't move and never have done? They can then kind of focus there, and then based on that, there'll be separate, more biohacking related stuff that takes these things to the next level.
The one problem that I see is, because you're going to fix diet for them, you're going to fix training for them, biohacking, I'm conscious of how much content you have to make. Because let's say you're going to give training programs, and let's say within the training section it's like how to train, and you're going to give them a full program, a PDF to a program. That itself is a build out. If the more detailed it is, you can make that 2 hours ChatGPT workouts, or you can make it 50 hours of your experience of training or of biohacking of a certain area.
Yeah.
And by the time you go so broad in fixing all these problems, you would have made so much course material, it's going to take you a long time to film. So then that will delay your launch of Skool, your enthusiasm will drop. That's what I feel like could happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like you should just go on one problem first, and energy or overwhelm would be the first one. Let's say it was like, what I found is like so many people are meditating these days and they're so much better with that. So do you want to go on to one thing and go narrow, and then as you add more modules, your ads will get broader? Because you can create multiple ads on Skool. Most people think they can't. What you actually can do on Skool is every one of these can be different pain point ad, and it could all lead to multiple funnels. So Skool platform could host biohacking, it could host your nutrition, but then these are separate funnels that people come into the platform on, because it has multiple courses on there.
Yeah.
Because if you show everything, it's very hard to get people in.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You kind of try and tackle everything.
And I'd rather you
build
launch,
to
say, right, I'm going to get it launched in 4 weeks. Because most of the time when I've worked on Skool platforms, most people say, right, I'm going to get this done. And every single time they delay, because they opted in for so much course material in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'd rather you just do one course and launch one course on there, and then add in some additional videos over time, and then build it out even more and more.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense, to be fair.
Because then you could say to me today, right, I'll get this done in the next 5-6 weeks. You'll have all the funnels ready, you'll have everything ready, and I can share with you some funnels that are converting well on Skool, and you can just see if you can find those audiences.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so if we focused in on like energy, because I think if you've got enough energy,
Okay.
that's the big needle mover.
can you describe this energy a bit more than?
Yeah, so in terms of energy, I literally mean like your physical energy in order to get up and conquer the day, but not only just be able to conquer your business day, have the right amount of energy to enjoy life. Because again, what you see with a lot of business owners is they give everything at work and then they get home and they're just destroyed and they don't actually do anything, they're making up for it.
Do you want to go really specific on energy and be like 30 days to feel like this, 60 days to feel like this, and they can join the community for that. And then when they're in the community, there could be many other courses and upsells and material there. But if we can focus on just one core offering in the beginning on like, within 60 days, we will get you from feeling tired in the morning to never feeling that again. And then you'll get multiple people eventually sharing testimonials of how they came, they feel tired, and now they don't feel like that anymore. Because then that's what gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, definitely. That would work.
Are we on the same page? I think conquer your day is a good line. And then you can come up with the line, which is like, you will go from feeling this to this, and this is the change. And you'll just talk about your personal story. So you're, the one thing that it could confuse though is if you're making short form content for your ad agency and this, I'm just concerned like, because when you're a new creator, just like I am, when you have multiple messages, it does confuse things. So is this a joint venture between both of you? Is it like 50-50? Or is it, because I'm working out, because you said men, and you're going to be growing your personal brand, if Halima's also posting as well, maybe we can make it more about energy for entrepreneurs. Or do you want, is your mission for men?
The reason it's on men was because I'm only going to share my experiences in this. That's the foundation for it all.
And I was asking because if it's a joint thing, maybe it could be.
Yeah, so it's a
Got it.
But I guess it is a different message, but there is some synergy between it because again, it's all in the business owner entrepreneur
You could be
context.
the guy who runs ads, but who has run ads and built a business running ads, but has also does biohacking. So one of your core pillars within your content is biohacking.
Yeah.
So
Because my idea is, look, with Botters, the agency, we build businesses, and with the Limitless Entrepreneur, we build business owners.
that's amazing. Yeah, that's good. Okay, as long as it links into your content pillars, then it's good.
Yeah.
Most people, what they do is, I'm going to open this shop here, and I'm also going to sell this online, I'm also going to do this. And it's like just sucking the energy out of all their audience and saying, right, just buy this from me, and then buy this from me. So just call it like a promotion hall.
Yeah.
Selling everything all the time. So if we just make it all about energy, and then let's say in the community part, let's say the goal was to get 50 members first. And 50 members, if you're just going to run it at 100 people, the first thing is they need to come on and they need to have enough courses to consume for them to not leave and cancel that month. If someone comes into your Skool community and they see one course or two courses around energy, they'll look, they'll click, and then they'll think a week later they'll cancel. Thank you for watching the video. If you're interested in building your sales team, if you're wanting to know where to start, what to do first, you can always contact us. You can have a call with me or my team below. There should be a link somewhere around this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.